So do you play any actual melodies?
There are
like
some
that?
materials.
Yeah, because, okay, right off the bat, I'm not a trombone guru or anything, but I would suggest, not making any big changes or anything, because I think you need to know someone better to really understand, chops. But to kind of relax your sound and broaden things out, I would play like real melodies, and my teacher used to call it Drunken Sailor. So Dave Gear at Iowa did the Drunken Sailor approach, and that's where you don't tongue anything. And one of my key philosophies is that you need to use a whole note of air under everything you play. So, trombonists, like, we grow up trying not to gliss.
Right.
And so, if we're playing along, we start huffing the air. And that carries on, into adulthood.
Yeah.
And you get your best sound if you can just blow that whole note of air and let it gliss. Okay, and then if it needs to be clean, you just add enough tongue, but you keep that whole note of air. So I've got a few tricks for doing that. And one thing we could use is like a Bordoni etude. Let's pick one, like number 3 is a good one. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to be unmusical and sloppy with thick glissandos. Okay, so this is all going to be maybe mezzo forte. So I'm moving my slide really slow. I'm not trying to land on the note precisely notched in place.
All right. I've seen this demonstrated, and I haven't done. I've tried a little bit, but not on a regular basis. So.
Yeah. So you're still too musical.
It's hard not to.
And, if you see Dave Vining, now he is a master teacher. I saw him do this thing that was similar, where the student played and Vining grabbed the slide. So the kid didn't have his hands on the slide at all. And the idea is he just wants the kid to go, blowing really straight, and then Vining shows him that, moving the slide does not mean that you pulse the air. And it opens up your most amazing sound. So we're trying to recreate that here. It started off really good. Yeah. And then you know how this tune goes, and you're like, okay, I want it to sound really good. So it became more and more precise. I'd like it to get more and more
less
sloppy.
Precise? Okay.
Yeah.
Shall I go on or go back?
Let's go back.
Okay.
So when you have the biggest leaps, so you have E down to C sharp, make sure that you just keep the air cooking through that. And it can sound bad. You've got license to sound bad.
That's hard.
It's the hardest thing. Okay, let's go on a bit, and I want you to kind of just look out across the valley there through that tree and past those houses.
I was looking at your view. I mean, I don't know.
I wish I was upstairs. It's a really good view. Okay, so we're going to go on, but I'd like you to send that sound all the way out there. I mean, you've got a nice sound and it's stable, you know, and it's pretty vibrant. It can be even more resonant and more beautiful. So all we're worried about is smearing, you know, big sound across the valley.
All right.
Okay, so when you went A G, da dee ha ha ha, it was very precise,
right,
but let's do the opposite.
I get what you're saying, it's just hard to do.
Good. Now you're doing so awesome. And then Precise Man kicked in towards the end. So here. Something like that.
Okay.
That's kind of the goal. So now, just watching, and you might be able to see it on the camera, on the last two notes, you can see, like, so that means the air is not completely a whole note. It's not steady, like there's a little bit of puffing in there. So, you know, this, it takes a while to figure this out, because it's kind of contrary to what we've learned since middle school.
Right.
But having a little bit of this playing would be good, I think, for you, and it can't hurt you.
Right.
You know? So one of the things about teaching, you don't want to mess up something, and that's why a lot of people don't teach embouchure, and maybe they shouldn't teach embouchure if they really, you know, it's complicated.
Right.
But you know, if it sounds great, chances are things are functioning correctly. So I mean, I can tell like you've got some really good things going for in your playing, and just from this short time, I would just suggest maybe being a little more gentle and tone focused in the warm up. So taking time just to mess around, gliss, and I like the exercises you showed me. Include some that are not rigid in nature. So
more tuny,
toony, but loosey goosey,
right? Okay,
kind of thing. So that might help you. And I do have one other trick that you can try. Have you ever used a pinwheel?
Yeah.
And you're playing, and this one is too big, but someone stole my good one. So to really get the air smooth on this stuff, first I kind of look at the music and I just blow a whole note. So. And I kind of try and make my air go in the shape of the music. And then the next step is what I call whisper tonguing, where I articulate, and as band director, I don't know if you've used this, but you can make your whole band sound better by, some people call it tongue and blow, where you, I'm just blowing the right kind of shape with my air, and then I'm bumping it with the tongue. Do you ever use that?
Yeah, I use that with in some warm-up situations with students. They actually, what it does is it gets the airstream going instead of having them hoo every note, which is what we've been talking about mine not doing, but that's the same thing.
And I usually use that as a clinician, because even after a band has performed and then you work with them, you can get them playing so together by just whisper tongue for 15 seconds on a passage. You know, it's like some tricky rhythm, and then all of a sudden, because they're blowing, they sound better, and it's more together.
Right.
But so I might go. So try that. Try the first, maybe up to there.
I'm afraid this thing won't move.
Add a bit of legato tongue. Yeah, okay, good. And we're going to do it again. If you get dizzy,
yeah.
If you get dizzy, just sit down because the altitude, it's a killer up here.
For those people who don't know, I'm in Utah. It's 5,000 feet, so.
Try bringing it really close to your face.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll be a bit easier. Okay, good, and just relax.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the smear again on the trombone.
Okay.
And again, so...
That would be awesome if I fainted on videotape.
I'd post it. Okay, so the same goal, across the valley with a nice, thick, smeary tone. Tone, to me, it's like 20% better right now. Do you feel a difference?
It feels more comfortable. I don't hear it as much. The connection between the notes is better.
Yeah.
For the airstream, you know, it's almost like when you go to buy a horn, you need somebody to listen to you from far away because you can't really tell what you sound like. I don't hear that much improvement in sound. I feel different when I'm doing it.
I hear it. Sounds good. So let's add some articulation to that great air that you're using.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a drone against you, and I'd like your volume to match mine. So when you change notes, you can't get softer. Like you have to stay the same volume. I'm going to be on one note, so it's easy for me. And sometimes it'll be dissonant. That's okay. But just try and lay down a thick sound that.
But I am articulating.
Yeah, just
not glissando-ing.
A little bit of legato. Pretty good. The first line was really good. Did you hear on the second line where it got softer?
At the end?
And where, I mean, between a couple notes.
Oh.
I stayed the same volume. Yours got.
Oh.
Where was that?
I did not notice that. I noticed the last note was softer.
So let's try the second line.
Okay. Second line?
Yeah.
That's higher. The E got soft.
It's the jumps before a big jump. Is where the air goes.
Yeah.
So that's where the Drunken Sailor thing can help you. So you want to. Another way to think of it is when you move your slide, imagine that you have to power it with air. So when you go up from the G to the E, you're blowing to move the slide. It doesn't matter which direction it goes.
Okay.
And when you go E to C sharp, kind of keeping that air moving to power the slide. When you went C sharp to D, you kind of went, and I mean, that was probably the end of your air, but it got the softest before the last note. That's where you really want. So let's do that second line again and match volume against the drone.
Push the air for the higher note.
Okay, awesome until the D.
Absolutely, yeah. And I closed off on the C sharp. I could feel a click in my throat when I went down.
Yeah, but you sound great on the first three-fourths of that was really good. So.